Today we're doing an oil change on a 2004 Polaris Magnum 330. Stuff you're going to need: drain pan, towels, brake cleaner, funnel, ratchet with a 9/16 socket on an extension, and your oil. I got this AMSOIL oil change kit. Comes with two quarts of oil and the filter. First thing I like to do is clean around the fill plug of the motor. So I sprayed that down with brake clean. Just wipe it down with a towel. You can blow it down with compressed air too. I just like this because it keeps it wet, so if there was any dust, it won't fall out. Next thing, make sure everything on thread. You don't want to drain the oil and then your dipstick won't come out. So this one did. And this one's a little low. Now we're underneath on the right side of the ATV. This one has a plow mount. You're not always going to have this, but in the middle here, it's a large hole. If you look up, that's the bottom of the engine block. That's your 9/16 bolt. You're going to want to get your ratchet up there and remove that bolt. Now to the oil filter. It's on the right side of the vehicle. I like to just spray it down quick with some brake cleaner. Wipe it off. Go from underneath. I already cracked this loose. But they should only be hand tight anyway. You never know. I got the drain pan still underneath because we're going to make a mess here once this comes off. I like to tip it down, try to catch as much oil as I can, and we'll let that drip dry for a while too. Also clean off this mating surface with a towel before you put the new filter on. So the oil's draining, it's almost done. I forgot to mention earlier, you should start the engine and let it run for a few minutes so that it gets warm. Another thing to note, here on the drain plug, there's a little washer, aluminum crush washer. It's always a good idea to replace that if you can. You can reuse them. Nobody recommends that you do, but I've done it and they haven't leaked. But if you have a new one, put a new one on. Everything's drained for a good 10 minutes. I'm going to go back and tighten this the drain bolt on the engine block. Don't go crazy now. This is aluminum crush washer. That'll seal good. So just get it tight and then give it a little tweak. Okay, next thing I like to do, I'm going to put the filter back on. So I like to pour a little bit of oil inside the filter. And then it's a good idea always take a little bit of oil and rub it on the gasket surface. You just don't want to put that on dry because it'll stick. You can inspect, or we clean that spot on the block, but always check for the gasket. And then look at your old filter, make sure that the gasket's on it still. You don't want to double gaskets, you'll blow that right off. So then back here we're going to go from the bottom. And just start to thread that on. Pretty straightforward. Okay, clean off the oil, if there is any, and then get on there. It's kind of tight, so it's hard to get at. Just tighten it, hand tight. And that should be all you need. Going into the fill hole. It's like 20 degrees here in my garage, so the oil's thicker than usual. So the kit comes with 2 quarts. It says the capacity on their website, on AMSOIL's website, is 1.9 quarts. So I'm going to add about 1.5 quarts, start it, and then just slowly add more until the level's full. Oil in there. Polaris recommends starting the machine, let it run for about 30 seconds, shut it off, and then you unthread your dipstick. And we're perfect. We're right full at the full mark. And then you just thread that back in. Careful, it's got really coarse threads. You don't want to cross thread those. Tighten it, and you're done. That's the oil change on a 2004 Polaris Magnum 330.